All right. Quick one today. Got a heavy six call coming up. All right. So I want to talk about two things. Um, put Andrew's email up here for those of you who are trying to reach out. Um, he's been busy with quite a few things, so feel free to, especially I'm going to talk about a couple opportunities that you can reach out to Andrew about. Awesome. Also trying to do more of these evening uh, calls because you guys said that this time works a lot better. A lot of times I'm doing it in between things during the day. And actually, my evenings, I have a lot more calls than during the day. So I usually actually have more time during the day, but I'm trying to do more of these evenings so y'all can show up, ask questions, and all that good stuff. Brandon G, welcome in. Thanks for saying hello. Be sure hit the like button, say hello. Also hit your questions. So we're talking about two things. It's two things I think are the biggest opportunities right now, not only in private equity, but also given the climate that we're probably going to be in for the next three to four, maybe 5 years. So, as a lot of you know, obviously borrowing has been a big opportunity. We had everything that happened with the PPP. We're actually looking at doing an acquisition of a business that does a lot of lending, and they blew up during that phase of things. And now the owner's like, "Hey, I made a lot of money. I'm good. I'm ready to exit out." So that there were a lot of people that took advantage of that. But I think now that that has ended, a lot of people feel like, oh, there's not as much opportunity around borrowing. And one of the things that I think is important is to remember that, especially for us, when it comes to private equity, a big part. There are two things that make it very, very profitable. One is basically making money off the carry instead of having to income and paying income tax. And the second is all the tax benefits that come with borrowing. Now, one of the things that we're doing that, again, I've been sharing kind of some of the behind the scenes and strategies that we're leveraging to get the kind of returns that we do. And one of them is something that I call cascading. So when it comes to borrowing, it's a really great ability if you're able to either buy a business that does have good credit or leverage your own credit to acquire an entity with a small down payment. So let's say that you're buying $1 million business. That down payment might be 20%, 200,000 if you're doing SBA, something like that. Let alone if you start to combine some of the other things, it could be lower than that. It could come in later. But let's say you're putting down 200,000. If you're putting down 200,000 on $1 million deal, there, because of where interest rates are right now, not only you're basically being paid, and this is, I kind of put in the title on this, you're kind of either team elite or team poor. And one of the things that even the people that talk about making a lot of money are kind of still team poor is that they're still making money and then taking that money, paying taxes on it, and living off the rest. And that's not how the elite do it. What the elite do is they will have things that make money, but they're only taking out and living off of money that they borrow, essentially. So we hear about all these folks that, they basically have never paid taxes and they're multi-billionaires. Like, how is this possible? This is outrageous. And then you have the people that are team poor, and then they try to revolt on Wall Street, and you have the Occupy Wall Street movement and all that. But the easier thing is just to do what they're doing, because anybody can do what they're doing. And you can really take some of those strategies, no matter where you're making money, and still leverage those same strategies. So a big part of that is you really aren't trying to make a lot of income, because you're literally just throwing money. If you have high income, you're throwing away half of the money. Every time you make a lot of money, you're giving half of it away to the government. So you want to, especially if you're somebody like me, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with what the government's doing with the money. So, I'm trying to minimize the amount of taxes that I have to pay. And if that's the case, if you're literally like, okay, I want to make $1 million, and you are paying half, 50% in taxes, that means you have to make $2 million just to get to the $1 million goal. If instead you have assets that like companies, you can just go in and borrow money and then have those companies pay that interest, which then is tax advantaged. You get into a situation where you're minimizing your tax obligation. Now, that's a very quick explanation. There's a lot of details that go into that. And be sure to go to patreon.com/Ace Chapman. We're getting that rolling, so we'll get into some of the nitty gritty in some of these. And so, yeah, Brandon brings up a great point. Unless you live in Puerto Rico. So yes, so I actually tried to live in Puerto Rico because of this. It's like, hey, this is amazing. And I tried it and I lasted a few weeks. I was like, yeah, this island is too small for me. And the idea of having to stay which isn't outrageous. It's a freaking, the beach and da. For a lot of people, I have one of my partners that's living there. I have a company, thanks to him living there, that is based there. And there are some really cool things that you can take advantage of without living there, which, again, gets into that next level of. So I get to take advantage of it, but I could never live there. So even 6 months a year is just, I felt like it was going to be a 6-month, not prison sickness, but just like almost a 6-month quarantine. Like it was like 6 months I had to be in this one place every year. It's like, I just can't do that. I like to be able to pick up and go when I want to pick up and go. I feel like, what's the point in having a ton of money if you have somebody telling you where you have to be for 6 months of the year? Like that's almost counterintuitive to the idea of freedom. Like the whole point of making money is to have the freedom, but then you're agreeing. And for a lot of people's lifestyle, it doesn't matter. For my lifestyle, it's like, I don't want somebody telling me where I have to be for 180 days every single year. So there are some strategies where you can still take advantage of that and not live there. So I do have the company we took public that's based there as well. So, but the idea here is you don't have to live in Puerto Rico to be able to take advantage of that. And then you get into something that's uniquely an opportunity right now. The big opportunity right now is you find a company, you pay that $200,000 down, and you go and you basically use the fact that multiples are low and interest rates are low. And so your ability to borrow on that $1 million deal is going to be very high. Like literally, we're buying businesses right now because it allows us to borrow money. So it's not even about the business. It's literally, this is an acquisition that gets us access to additional lending facilities that allow us to do the other acquisitions that we want to do. And this creates this cascading opportunity where you buy the first business, and I'm sorry, it's giving me a notice that the internet isn't great right now, but you buy that first business and you borrow against that another $400,000, and now you can go and acquire a $2 million asset. So you're kind of loading up that first entity with a lot of debt. And that is buying it's giving you your down payment for that second business. Put 20% down on the second business. Now you have a $2 million business. And that $2 million business, because of where interest rates are and how low multiples are, if you're buying it right, should at least allow you to borrow basically enough to go out and do that same process. So you got $400,000 that one, you should be able to get $800,000 in that acquisition, which gets you a $4 million down payment on a $4 million business. And so you can start to see how you can use that to basically scale up And this isn't something that's always there. Back in 2010, when I was doing deals, that opportunity didn't exist because of where multiples were, because of where the lending and interest rates were. And so that's something that I think everybody should be looking at. Everybody should be taking advantage of. And I see some really great questions come in. I'm going to talk about this other big opportunity, and then I do got to bounce at 10. So I'll talk about this for 5. We'll do some questions for 5, and then I'll bounce out of here. So the other big opportunity that exists is brokering. And this is something, obviously I was start brokering in deals in 2005. What brokering is basically you're doing deals. If you're already doing deals, you're finding sellers who want to sell their business. Preferably, we want to deal with people that aren't on the market. And when you're finding those deals, a lot of you're not going to want to buy. So it's an opportunity for you to act as a broker for that business. And so a big opportunity that exists when, we're in a time period right now. When I was buying businesses 20 years ago, there's nobody talking about buying businesses. 10 years ago, there's a lot more. Now we've reached this point where there's a lot. It's a gold rush. People see the opportunity. And so there are a bunch of sellers. There are more and more coming. They're the baby boomers. There's this, everybody talks about this multi-trillion-dollar wealth transfer that's happening in micro private equity. And then on the other side, you've got a lot of people that are trying to replace their income, live remotely, all of that. And so when you have gold rush opportunities, where there's a lot of people that want in, and then there's a lot of people that want to transact out, you want to become what they call it picks and shovels. So the people that got the wealthiest in the gold rush weren't the people that were out there looking for gold. It was the people that were selling everything that those folks needed, down to literally the jeans, and hence Levi jeans. The cool thing for us is we can do that same thing in this space. We can act as brokers, essentially. We can act as loan broker. We can act as a lot of things that both of those parties need, and provide the picks and shovels. And so one of the things that we've just decided to do is, I put up Andrew's email here, is we're actually adding brokers right now because it's just a really big opportunity. I won't give away who it is, but we had a broker first month. Actually, we're still in the first month of this year, and this is where these two things. This is why I put brokering and borrowing together, because so one of our brokers had a couple deals, generated about $25,000 in commission so far this year, which is basically so far this month. And what he's doing with that is putting a down payment on a business. And so now that income basically becomes wealth. So the powerful thing with brokering is not just brokering from the standpoint of, I just want to make some money from these things. It's brokering to get into the game, and then you start to do the cascading strategy that I talk about, but this is what funds it. So if you're interested in being a part of some of the deals, and basically we've got a lot of deals, we've got deals that we're brokering. So you're basically getting into the game immediately, as opposed to trying to figure it out. And so hit him for that. Let's run through some of these, and I'll come back. This was kind of just, I had a quick moment, so I wanted to come in. I'll come back, and because both of these are two things that these are the two biggest opportunities this year. So I'll be talking about this more. All right, so we'll go back, say what up to Brandon. Thanks for popping in. What's up, El Shaddai? Thanks for popping in. G Combs says, hey, Ace, thanks for the info. No problem, homie. Thanks for coming in. We talked a little bit about Puerto Rico. Tim, good afternoon. What's up? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Tim says, all about leverage. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And I think that is one of the keys between that Team Elite and Team Poor is everything is about, okay, how do I leverage what this is right now to go to the next level? If you have a business, even if it's doing well, it's like, how do I leverage this to take it to the next level. Most people aren't taking full advantage of that. But kind of, what kind of returns is the business return? Or I think you're asking what kind of returns. So right now it's really crazy. Like we're buying businesses at, I had a live the other day where Curtis, one of my partners, I was talking about a deal that we were closing at 1.7 multiple. And he was like, yeah, well, I got one at 1.2. And so what that means when you're talking about a below 2 multiple, a 2 multiple basically means the business is going to 100% pay for itself in 2 years. So when you get below that, you're talking less than 2 years. So, in 18 months, it would be like 100% return, or in the case of Curtis's deal, in a year and a couple months, basically, it would be 100% return. So when you've got that kind of margin in the deal, that's why you have that power to buy it and then use that availability and cash flow. And the bank's like, yes, I will lend to this all day long, especially if you're doing the kind of deals we're doing. Like, on Impevi right now, we're doing a deal that's actually an internet business, but it's been around since 2012 or 13. That's a 10-year-old business. That's internet based. So banks love that. It's not, I think one of the other mistakes that a lot of people make is thinking that they're thinking from the perspective of where they've been. They're thinking from that startup perspective, and they know, hey, I've gone into the bank and the bank laughs at me like, dude, you gotta be kidding. There's no way we're giving you a loan on this, on your little lifestyle business. This game is not that at all. Elsa says, where to get the book? Amazon.com. It's the ACE formula. Shout out to Ange. Ange is working. We're gonna get, I kind of put my other book, Infinite Returns, on the back burner just because there's a lot going on. And that is one of my goals. I mentioned on the last live that we got a few things that will be coming out in February. I'm pushing her to get that out, hopefully February, as one of those things. This brokerage that we're just now, this is the first time that I'm allowing brokers in, and we're making a big effort to really grow and take advantage of this big opportunity that's going to be happening over the next 4 or 5 years. Pop through. What time is it? 3 more minutes. All right. Do you need a license to be a broker? That's one of the things that we'll train you on. There are certain instances where you need to be a broker. There are certain locations where you need to be a broker, and certain transactions where you need to be a broker. But there are a lot of opportunities where no matter your location or, still depending on the transaction, but no matter your location, you can broker without a license. We do have licensed brokers, and I've got a licensed broker right now that's debating. He's like, hey, I don't know if I even want to renew it. There are too many opportunities where I can make money without this license. Do I really want to renew it? But I think it's great to have. So even like I told him, it's like, it's easy. It's great to have. So, obviously that's up to him, but we'll show you all the opportunities that exist, whether you want to go the licensed route or go the unlicensed route. Great question, Lloyd. Brandon is exactly right. We want to get into the game now. Like 20 years ago, the opportunity in this space was buy a business, sell a business. Now the opportunity is provide the tools. Once there's a lot of people, there's people talking about it. There's 20 different Twitter accounts. There's all these different things. The big opportunity becomes provide the tools and the money. Provide the money and the tools. Lauren says, nice. I have to watch this again. I'm going to join. Awesome. Look forward to working with you. Thanks for popping in. Nate says, question, after putting $200,000 down and borrowing $800,000 on that $1 million deal, who will lend you $400,000, pull out of business? Is there value add? Play first. Though the key is what I was talking about with the multiples. So you have to get a good deal in order to pull this off, which is, again, this opportunity of getting into the game the other way is because, like, you want to get good at finding the deals and playing the broker games a way to get into that side so that you know how to find those really great deals that we've been talking about. But no, if you're buying a maxed out deal, there's not going to be the room to play with this kind of strategy. Let's see. Ace, what are your thoughts on companies buying Crypto, have you done acquisition? Yeah. So simple answer is yes. Each of the companies that we buy, that's the only way. Like, I really only like investing. This is what I want to end on. I really only like investing with my cash flow businesses. So I'm not trying to invest my money. You know what I mean? I want to be able to dollar cost average into different assets and buy those assets with money from the companies. And then the other really cool thing is that we're doing right now is you can borrow against those assets. So in the deal right now, we're actually borrowing we have a company that's been buying, has a bunch of crypto. We're borrowing against that to acquire another asset. That asset is then something that we can borrow against to go buy more assets. The game is borrow and buy more assets. It's either your team elite, and that's what the elite are doing, or your team poor, and that is definitely not what the poor are doing. I'll take this one. It's kind of long. I can't read it that quick, so I'll take this one and bounce out. Fred Hopkins, what's up? I hadn't seen your name in here before, so wanted to get to your question. Thanks for popping in. Curious whether you've seen or done deals where there is an earn-in based on providing a service. For example, a marketing consultant can pay a piece of the business. Yes. Simple answer, yes. It's a big part of the strategy for doing a deal right now. PEPFI 5 is negotiating a deal. It's going to be called consulting for equity. Literally is what we do a lot of training on that in Dealmakers Institute as well. If you want to learn more about that strategy, go to dealmakersinstitute.com. Within the broker, and we do something called, going in and being a merger specialist. So there are either businesses that want to sell or they're businesses that want to grow. If they want to grow, they don't know, but they should want to acquire their competitors. And so one of the things, that's one of the services that we provide is we will work with a company to go out and look for companies that they can acquire, we'll take care of the whole process. Business owners don't have time to do that. We get equity in both entities in exchange for helping them with that process. All right, that was a lot of value, dog. If y'all don't like this video, man, y'all tripping. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't. I'll be back soon. Reach out to, let me throw up Andrew's email one more time. Hit Andrew if you're interested in becoming a broker with us. Talk to y'all soon.